Hi everybody. So I was just getting ready for my live stream tonight, and I was reminded of a few things of like the last two trips I was on the cruise ships, and I was on the Sky Princess, and then the very last cruise the week after I was on the Norwegian Encore, and I always collect these from my last ships, and I said, you know what, this is the longest I've gone in a long time without growing this collection, so that's pretty strange. But I just wanted to say, I was reading an article here in Ottawa about a couple in Quebec, and you know what? If you're caught doing something wrong, what's the best idea? I think it's not only to do that same thing again, but get your friends in trouble at the same time. Yeah, another thing I gotta remember tonight, I can't forget this. Not that I will ever forget that. But I was reading this article, and as you may have heard, I talked about it before, that 4 miles down the road in the province of Quebec here in Canada, we have a curfew, and they extended it again to for 4 more weeks, basically, another month. And even though they decided they're going to start opening businesses and museums and things like that, they still elected to keep that curfew in place, and a lot of people are not really happy with the curfew. A lot of protests and things like that going on, but you know, they just find the people protesting, and then they end because people can't afford to keep paying and paying and paying. But I'm not gonna argue about the curfew or anything like that, but I just wanted to talk to you about like maybe don't do this. So here's what happened. There was a couple driving after curfew hours, and they were pulled over by the police, and they were asked where they were headed. And they said they were heading to their friend's cottage. First mistake, right? Well, they couldn't very well say they were going home because their address on their ID was nowhere near where they were heading. So the police issued them, I don't know if it was a warning at first or a fine at the beginning, and said, no, you have to turn around. There's a curfew in place. You're not allowed to visit people. You have to be in your home. Turn around and go home. They issued the ticket. The couple said okay, and then the couple started driving off down the road. And the police assumed that they were just going to drive down a little further and then turn into a property and turn around, and they would see them coming back. And after a few minutes go by, they decided, where is this couple? They haven't turned around, and they haven't headed in the other direction. So the police started up their car, started heading down the road, and a few minutes later, they locate the car parked in a driveway of another residence. And just as they pulled up, get this, just as they pull up, the lights on in the house turn off. Pretend we're not home, they thought to themselves. Pretend we're not home. They just followed your car. They have your license plate, and it's parked in the driveway. They know somebody's there. So instead of owning up to it and just saying, we just stopped in to tell our friends that we won't be going and we're getting ready to leave and turning around, they decided to try and fool the police and say that, you know, turn out the lights, shh, 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 everyone be quiet. And the police said they went up to the door and they knocked on the door, and the people refused to answer the door. And even though the police could actually hear them talking shh, 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 inside at the other end of the door. Here's a tip. If you're trying to hide from somebody and you're on the other end of the door, don't go shh, okay, everyone keep quiet, because they can hear you. It's nighttime, not a lot of noise going on. They can hear the littlest sounds, right? Have you ever walked outside when no one's around at night? You can hear the sounds for miles. So anyway, in Quebec, if you refuse to open the door and the police suspect that you are breaking the law and the curfew, they have instigated a law where they can dial up this number, get a warrant issued for entrance into your home. And that's exactly what they did. They got the warrant, went into the house, and now instead of possibly just having that one fine, and had they just turned around, that would have been the end of it. Had they gone and then, because it was only like 5-10 minutes. Had they said they just stopped in to tell their friends that they won't be going and then they're going to leave and get in the car and start leaving, the police probably would have said, okay, all right, drive safe. But instead, they tried to hide and they tried to turn out the lights. So what happens now? Everybody in the household got fines. The people they were visiting, and they led them right to them. They led the police right to the house. And then they tried to hide it. And now the couple is ending up with over $3,000 in fines each because they made it more complicated. They got caught once, then they didn't turn around, they got caught twice, and they tried to hide and lock the doors and not give entrance. But once that warrant is there, you either open up the door or they bust it open. And you don't have much choice in the matter at that point. But yeah, I don't understand if we got caught by the police, they pulled us over and we got a fine, and then you see the police pulling up. Why are you trying to hide? It's not like your car is getting away. Like, they see you guys. They know you're there. And turning out the lights, it's like hiding under your bed from monsters. It's just not gonna work. I just thought this, like, I disagree completely with the curfew law in Quebec. I completely disagree with that decision. However, if I was out and I got caught, I would not try and sneak around and keep going because you're just asking for trouble. In fact, they were lucky that they didn't get arrested because of a second continued offense. And then trying to hide as well and pretend it didn't happen. So they were actually kind of lucky there. But yeah, kind of just a ridiculous situation. It's almost like a comedy show on TV. You can picture the police knocking on the door. Shh, 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 shh. Don't answer the door. Shh, shh. Pretend we're not here. We can hear you. Shh, shh. I just found it funny. The world is going nuts and we have to go along with that ride because it's just the way things are nowadays. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think, yeah, that was not a bright idea? Do you think the police would have just said, okay, had they just started walking out with their keys in their hand to get in their car saying, sorry, we just had to tell our friends we weren't coming. And we gave them some money for the stuff that they were getting ready for, so they weren't out of pocket and were leaving. I think the police would have just said, all right, and just made sure they left. And that, but I don't know. Who knows? Maybe they just would have got tickets anyway. But once you're caught, it doesn't pay to just try and fool anybody a second time. It's almost like the old song Shaggy saying, it wasn't me. Just say, it wasn't me. Wasn't me, officer. You didn't pull me over there. That's not like my license plates. I'm a completely different person. Oh, well. Life in Canada, everybody.